Hi everyone, Travis here. Today's video is for the parents of young children who are interested in building good financial habits and helping their kids save for a brighter financial future. I'm sure we've all experienced that feeling of wishing we knew more about how to manage our own finances. Unfortunately, that's not taught in most school curriculums. So what ends up happening is that we learn the basics of budgeting, saving, and investing through experience later in life. A lot of trial and definitely a lot of error. Now, some people are fortunate to have parents with the means and the ability that pass along these good financial lessons at an early age. And often we see how these people are empowered, not because they have a bunch of money that their parents saved for them, but because they have these basic financial ideas and knowledge that they can apply as an adult. So today we'll discuss the 3 ways that you can enrich your child's financial future. Now, right off the bat, one of the biggest expenses your child will incur is paying for education. According to NerdWallet, the average student in the class of 2019 finished with about $29,000 in student loan debt, and 62% of the class finished with some amount of student debt. What this means for college graduates is that they're starting off their careers not at zero, but at less than zero, and it becomes harder for them to save aggressively for retirement and to save for those big purchase items. But we see all the time that thanks to the compounding nature of investing, starting early and saving aggressively in your 20s makes a big difference in what you end up with compared to starting in your 30s or 40s. So, how do you use this information to benefit your child? If saving for their expenses in college and having them graduate with little to no debt is important to you, you might consider opening and funding a 529 college savings plan. Now, here's how it works. You can open a 529 offered by any state you choose. Some things to keep in mind are if your local 529 offers a state tax benefit for residents, the fees that are charged, and the investment options that are offered. The account owner is usually the parent or the grandparent with the young child as the beneficiary. 529s are funded with after-tax dollars, the money is invested, and the earnings can be withdrawn tax-free as long as the withdrawals are for educational expenses. Now, the definition of educational expenses is thankfully pretty broad and includes tuition, room and board, computer equipment, and more. Another benefit of the 529 is in its flexibility. If the child decides to not go to a 4-year college, they can use the funds for a trade school. And if they don't plan on using the funds at all, the balance can be transferred to a sibling or a first cousin at no penalty. Now, before you go out and open that 529, take a moment to consider your cash flow. In my view, you'll want to be adequately saving for your own retirement before you start redirecting significant savings into the college savings account. There's always options for students to take out loans or get scholarships to help pay for college, but that's not the case for funding your own retirement. In addition, if the 529 funds are used for non-educational expenses, a 10% penalty and taxes may apply to the earnings portion of your withdrawal. So determine how much you can contribute to the 529, be consistent with your contributions, and it can be a wonderful tool for helping your child build that savings account and they can graduate with little to no debt. Moving on to the second way to enrich your child's financial future, you can introduce them to the basics of investing through a custodial account or a minor Roth IRA. A custodial account is usually created as a Uniform Transfers to Minors Act account or a Uniform Gifts to Minors Act. That's a mouthful, so just remember UTMA and UGMA. How these accounts work is that the young child is the beneficiary of the account with an adult custodian making the investment decisions. The distinction between a UTMA and UGMA is that the UTMA can hold real tangible assets like real estate and fine art, as well as intangible assets like stocks, bonds, and cash, whereas the UGMA is limited to holding only financial intangible assets. This is a good way for parents or family members to help the child get started with a nest egg that'll grow and be invested from a young age. Now, there are some things to be aware of. In a custodial account, once the child reaches the age of majority in your state, they receive full control over the funds, which makes some parents uneasy. In addition, unlike the 529 account, the beneficiary can't be changed on the custodial account. And when the child is applying for financial aid through the FAFSA, having money in the custodial account could impact how much aid they receive. Now, another way to teach your children about saving and investing is by opening and funding a minor Roth IRA. Now, this only works if your teenage children are working part-time jobs and are able to contribute some of their income into this Roth. The usual Roth contribution limits apply, and of course you can only contribute up to what the child earned in income. But teaching your child about how a Roth IRA works at an early age can be critical to developing their financial literacy. Roth IRAs are funded with after-tax dollars, and the earnings can be withdrawn tax-free in retirement. So by encouraging your teen to contribute their summer job earnings into Roth, you introduce them to the power of compounding interest that will grow and be able to be taken out tax-free later on. As an added incentive, some parents will match dollar for dollar their child's contribution into the Roth IRA. And this can drive similar behavior to take advantage of a potential employer match when they take on their first real job. If you're going to do this, plus contribute to the 529, you'll want to be aware of the annual gift tax exclusion, which is $15,000 per person in 2021. Now, our third and final point is probably the most important. As the quote goes, "If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime." Accumulating large balances in the 529 and custodial accounts will certainly have a tremendous impact on your child's future and will enrich them later in life. But the next step is more challenging and will ultimately help them more down the road. In the book, The Millionaire Next Door, Dr. Tom Stanley finds that 80% of millionaire households are first-generation wealthy. Money can be transitory, so it's not uncommon to see wealth squandered by the children or grandchildren of wealthy individuals. So with that in mind, the best thing you can do for your kids is to emphasize the importance of financial literacy with them and provide that education on budgeting, saving, and investing that they're not going to get in school. Show them the power of compound interest and why it's important they start investing at a young age. And it's okay if you don't have all the answers yourself. There are tons of resources now available on the internet like Investopedia or YouTube videos like ours that can give you clear and unbiased information. This is your opportunity to get your child started on the right foot financially and give them the guidance that most people probably didn't get when they were younger. To summarize, there are 3 ways that parents can positively influence their child's financial future. Consider opening a 529 college savings plan for your child and take advantage of the tax-free growth of the funds as long as they're used for a qualified educational expense. As with any type of account, there are small but important details to know about the right way of opening and funding a 529, so do your research first or consult a professional. Then we discussed building strong saving and investing habits through funding a custodial account for your child's benefit or helping them open a minor Roth IRA. In investing, time is your best friend. So use these accounts to teach your child the importance of starting early and saving aggressively. Finally, emphasize the importance of financial literacy with your kids. Find a way to pass along those basic lessons of budgeting, saving, and investing that most people only learn as adults. And remember, how you are with your money will rub off on them. So be that good financial role model. A little bit of a longer episode today, but truly important information that parents and grandparents can use to benefit the children in their life. And you may have noticed some of the pictures of our team from their youth that we included in today's video. We hope you enjoyed seeing those as much as we enjoyed sharing them. We'll put up the contact info for myself, Christina, and Les. If you have any questions, send me an email at travis@andrewsllc.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one.